No.
So I'd like to welcome you, students. I know many of you are in the Masters in Leadership in TVET and Workforce Education and Development. And I know that you are looking forward to this workshop on cloud computing. It will certainly give you some strategies that you can use to scale up to the digital transformation that's taking place in education, and it's especially in TVET and workforce development. I want to welcome especially those of you from the other institutions outside of the UWI Master's Program. I'm seeing a few of you. We'd ask you to shortly just let us know where you're from, who you are and what you do, just quickly, probably in just a few seconds, so Dr. Jayakumar can have an idea of your background and tailor his delivery to suit. We're waiting for him just to get himself ready so that we can all be on the same page once we begin. This is the first day of the 6th International Conference on TVET in the Caribbean. We're looking forward to participants from all over the globe, but mostly from Jamaica because it's located in Jamaica. I'm not sure if any of you are registered for the conference, but if you're not, you certainly would want to do so. The registration is free for students who are wanting to attend the conference as in-service learning for the course EDTV 6040. That would be seminars in TVET and workforce development. If I can ask by a show of hands, can I see the students who will be taking the workshop as credit for that course, EDTV 6040? You can raise your hands, I will see.
Doc, I do have the raise hand feature. I am doing Matthew McDonald.
Okay, sure. Okay, we have a few hands. We have a few hands going up. I know those of you who are outside of UWI would not be taking it for credit. All right, thank you. So we have 3 persons who will be using this workshop as credit for EDTV 6040. You can put your hands down now. Thank you. And I'll go ahead and introduce our facilitator for this morning. Dr. Jayakumar is the Executive Vice President and Head of Corporate HR, Larsen and Toubro, a multinational conglomerate in India that uses high-end technology in its operations. He has over 34 years of experience in successfully planning, designing, and managing various HR initiatives to include using cloud computing. His academic achievements include a Bachelor's of Law or LLB and a PhD in leadership from the University of Madras, India. He is also certified in organizational development from the renowned Training Lab Institute in the US. Dr. Jayakumar has made an immense contribution serving on various boards for institutions and professional bodies that include Academy of Human Resource Development, School of Inspired Leadership, and Alternative Investment Management Association. He is well versed in the topic today in cloud computing. We are happy to have him facilitate the workshop and share his expertise and experience with us. And before I hand you over to him, I'd like for you to keep your mics muted during the presentation. And you can type your questions in the chat so that others can see what questions are being asked. I will relay those questions to him. And once we are in the conference, I would prefer that you raise your hand if you have a question, and then we'll stop and ask him to answer your question or comment. Let me just ask Dr. Jayakumar, would you prefer participants to ask the questions at the end of your delivery, or you would stop and ask them?
They can ask, but I may not go deep into cloud computing part of it. I'll talk more about the digitalization practices done in our organization, which will be of interest to them. And if required, I can also touch some of the digital things which we've done in the space of HR and people management and all those areas. Okay. If they are very specific, getting deep into cloud computing, I'm a HR professional with 35 years handling a conglomerate. I will take them to the whole digital transformation done in our organization, right?
Okay. Yeah, sure. So the questions you would take at the end, or could we stop in between and ask them?
I will take at the end. So I will put a brief present. What is the time available?
We have at least an hour and a half.
Oh, it's 1.5 hours. Is it? Okay, fine. Okay, I'll take you through my digital transformation journey in our organization, then followed by a question answer session. Okay?
Okay, sure. So without any further delay, it is my pleasure to hand you over to Dr. Jayakumar to make his presentation.
Yeah. So I have a small PPT. I'll start with the PPT and then we'll take it further. Okay?
Sure.
Can you see my PPT?
Yes, we can.
Yes, Doctor.
Yes, we can.
Yeah. Thank you. Good morning to everybody. Sorry, I'm in India today. Now it is 7:40 p.m. today here. Good morning and nice to be here in this webinar. I'll briefly. I work for a company called Larsen and Toubro, which is an Indian multinational. We do predominantly engineering, procurement, and construction, EPC. We call it EPC business, high-tech manufacturing, and we are also into services, right? So when I talk about EPC, we make things like all the airports, metros, bridges, roads, runways, tall structures, dams, ports, anything in terms of infrastructure. If somebody has visited India, then all the airports, if you see Delhi International Airport, Mumbai International Airport, Hyderabad International Airport, Bangalore, all the international airports and most of the metro lines, everything is constructed by Larsen and Toubro. We have a large presence in Middle East also. Riyadh Metro is being constructed by us. We have also constructed the Al Rayyan Stadium, which at Qatar, which had the football match, and many of the other projects, major projects in terms of the Middle East operations. We have also presence in Asia, and ours is now around 22 billion USD is the revenue. Okay, 22 billion USD, that is the revenue, and our order backlog will be at least 3.5 times that. That is around 66 to 70 billion will be the order backlog which we have to execute. So that, and we employ around 1 lakh employees, direct employees, engineers, and we have more than 300,000 workmen at different locations doing different projects. So around 100,000 engineers who are permanent staff members and 300,000 workers. So it's a scale, size, complexity. If you look at it, it is one of the biggest conglomerate in India. Our tagline says, we make things that make India proud. Okay. And we are the builders to the nations. We call it, we not only to India, we are builders to the nations. So we do Qatar Metro, we do stadiums, we do airports, we do. So it's a very, and most of our recruitment happens from the campuses. We go to all the best of the best engineering colleges, and we put them through a structured training program, develop them and take them further. That is the company. And we have, every organization has a strategic plan. Our next strategic plan for 2026 is enhancing the existing business in terms of EPC, reduce exposure to some of the non-core businesses, some of the businesses we wanted to come out of, develop business offering the energy transition. We are getting into green energy, manufacturing of electrolyzers. Electrolyzers is something which will split water into hydrogen and separately for preparing the green hydrogen. When the coal is polluting and becomes a CO2 emission. So in order to reduce this, coal is getting a lower level, and more of towards green energy it is being focused. So we are also into a new business of manufacturing of electrolyzers, which is for green hydrogen. We are manufacturing of batteries for storage of the thing, solar power. Then also the other green hydrogen project. So this is in order to our sustainability initiatives across the company. And we have taken a whole lot of initiatives in terms of sustainability. If you look at water recycling, the energy management, in terms of using of renewable energy like solar, wind energy, etc. And we have a targets for everything, and we wanted to become carbon neutral by 2035. That is the goal of the organization. That is how we are going up. And we are also getting into many digital businesses. We in order to our next 5-year plan is to double our revenues and triple our profits. So we have to become in next 5 years 44 billion, and today it is around 1.5 billion, maybe. Our profitability to triple it. So that is the scale and size which we are going. If you have to grow in that scale and size, we need to get into different other type of businesses. So we are also entering into the digital platform business. We are into L&T EduTech, which is on education part of it, all the engineering education, after whether it is civil engineering, mechanical, electrical, chemical engineering, the whole thing. We have converted the syllabus into digital learning, plus virtual instructor led learning. So our engineering colleges are our customers. So we ensure that the practical exposure, it's ours is an 80-year-old company, that 80 years of experience is converted into a curriculum, and then it is being aligned with the UGC, University Grants Commission. They have that curriculum for civil, mechanical, electrical engineering, and that is one area of business, which is a platform business, which is on technology. Then we have something called SUFIN, Supply Chain and Finance, which is typically an Amazon for engineering goods. So whether it is steel, cement, aggregates, whether it is grinders, welding machines, whatever it is there, it is a platform where you bring in the buyers and sellers, including a gateway for the transactions. And then it's typically an Amazon for engineering goods. We are also into data centers as a business. Not only we build data centers, but also maintain the data centers for various clients. So and with all the restrictions today, most of the Indian conglomerates would like to have that data within the India. So that's one emerging area where a lot of thing is being happening. And sustainability, a focus on ESG, creating shareholder value creation. These are all the vision of the organization. We are into, as I already briefed, I don't want to go into that. We are into different infrastructure projects, in buildings, water, power, that is transmission line and substation, transportation infrastructure, into energy projects. We are there into hydrocarbon power, high-tech manufacturing, that is heavy engineering, defense engineering, green manufacturing, IT, IT, financial services, and other reality and development projects. So we have a wide spectrum of thing available. So we are proud to say we built the tallest, the deepest, the fastest. The tallest statue in the world is called the Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel statue, which is in India, in a place called Surat in Ahmedabad. So it is 182 meters tall, which is the highest statue in the world. Then comes all the other statues, etc. So that is constructed by us. The fastest metro, the largest, biggest stadium in the world is in India. It is the Montreal Stadium again in Ahmedabad, which is today, before this was inaugurated, the stadium which was in Australia was the biggest, which has had the 80,000 seating capacity. We have now in Montreal, it is around 120,000 seating capacity, biggest cricket stadium. We do smart cities across the traffic surveillance, face recognition, crowd management. The entire thing is done by this. This is the tallest statue which I talked about. This is the Montreal Stadium. This is the longest metro or a dedicated freight corridor. All these things are constructed by us. So we have gone a whole lot of digital transformation in the last couple of years. This will be very much interested for your students and the participants, because such a construction or infrastructure is generally treated as a brick and mortar company, right? It's a brick and mortar industry. It is morely unorganized. It is a seasonal, people come for employment and then they move out. So it is traditionally a brick and mortar company. How we transformed it into a digital organization? How did we do the digital transformation? And that too, and even our company it has come as a case study in HBR, Harvard Business Review. You can Google and find out L&T construction digital transformation as a case study which has come up. We have written it along with ISB from Hyderabad, Professor Ram Narayanan and others have written, and it is available in HBR. So the context is...
Dr. Jayakumar, I just want to put that information in the chat. Could you give me the title of the article again so I could type it in, so our students can research it?
It is on a digital transformation of L&T construction. I can share that a little later. I have to search for that and do that, by Professor Ram Narayanan of ISB.
Okay, I will ask you to share as you go along. You can type it in the chat. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Okay.
it has come as a HBR case study. So what it is, because in terms of any business context, it is you have to reduce cost. Okay. In terms of infrastructure project management is very, very important. You have to reduce cost, provide within the time, manage time, and then create value to the customer. Okay, time is the essence of a contract. For example, a project which is of 100 million, if it cannot be, if to be constructed in 24 months, if it gets delayed by another 12 months, then the whole cost overrun happens, and then the project will go in loss. So the time is the essence of the contract. Okay, so we have to focus on what is on project management, focus on manpower, focus on material, focus on machinery, focus on design, focus on survey. These are all the components in which you have to look at how do you reduce cost, put it in time, how do you add value to the customer. Okay, if this is to be done, it cannot be done manually. You have to bring in technology, you have to bring in digitalization. How do you reduce cost, reduce time, as well as add value for. So we have used lot of digital technologies. We have used the IoTs, the mobility, social, business intelligence modeling, a whole lot of analytics, IoT. I'll talk about different use cases where we went into digitalization, how we transformed our entire business, how we are staying ahead of the curve as compared to the competitors and creating value to people, including 3D printing. We have done a 1+1 building using 3D printing. The whole lot of we are doing post offices across the country. Yeah, that too in a state of Karnataka. For 23 crores one post office, which is done through 3D printing. It is done in a period of 3 to 4 days time. It is done. A post office is ready using a 3D printing. So it's a pure technology. Just move the printer to another location and you do. That is where the technology is.
Okay, so as you go into the digital technologies, you did mention that you look for the best and brightest in the colleges and you train them and prepare them for industry. If you can focus on that kind of upscaling in education with the digital technologies, we would be very much interested in that because we are more situated in higher education. Is that okay?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
I have to slightly move towards how we get into the. See, first and foremost, I'll give a glance of what we have done. Then we will see
Yes.
how we are training those people. Okay.
Okay, sure. Thank you.
So some of the technologies which is used, if I look at, see, plant and machinery. In a project site, we may have more than 900,000 machineries. If in case of batching plants, in terms of trucks, in terms of crane, in terms of different equipments will be there. So the project site will be in different locations across. If you are constructing 3 cement plants, one cement plant will be in one part of the country, another cement plant will be in another part of the country. I will be doing a Qatar metro at Qatar, and they'll be doing a stadium in India. I'll be doing a transmission line in Malaysia. So all the locations, this machinery will be there. So the entire machinery is fitted with RFIDs, in where the entire data gets captured and it is sent to the central place. With that, we know what is the preventive maintenance required, what is the fuel efficiency, what is the downtime of the machine, what is the future, the availability, usage of the machine, what the whole data comes inside through the RFIDs and sensors which is put inside. So which helps to take a preventive maintenance, preventive action, increase the productivity as well as the performance of the machine, which will add value to the business. Same way, project planning and control. The entire progress of the planning or the site, it's fed by the engineers in the app there. Based on which the data gets into that, and we know how much, what is the client billing, plant reconciliation, all those things. For example, how much of work we have done, how much we have built, what is the balance, all this reconciliation is in the fingertips. Workman availability, part of it, we use the different technology, including face reading technology, as well as geofencing in those areas, so that the person who enters inside with the attendance get marked. We know at any point of time, at any place, what is the number of people there. And then it will help combined with the project progress. We know the productivity, where we are moving ahead, whether we are on time, whether we have to scale it up, whether we will reach the deadlines, etc. Then we get into survey engineering. We use the drones for the survey part of it, including lidars for survey. So for example, even sitting here, very far away, even some 1,000 kilometers far away in a project site, if there is a aggregate or a sand heap available, it can measure to using the technology sitting here, what is the quantity available, what is the quantity required, how much more to be ordered in the future. So such type of advanced technology has been done. Then material tracking. For example, the entire thing is fitted with the sensors and RFID, so that at any point of time where your logistics materials are there, which part of the country, when it will reach, all those things are done. Another use case of thing, if I tell you in terms of material, the Statue of Unity, which is 182 meters, which is consisted of the upper layer is of a brass cladding. Okay, it is more than 3 lakh cladding pieces are fitted in that, so that it looks like a dress and like a person. So this 3 lakh pieces is like a jigsaw puzzle. You should know which position, which has to come in which place of the 182 meters. 182 meters is so high, and these all thing will be stacked somewhere. How do you find out which one? So that is where technology comes in. Exactly, they know this is the piece which is to be fitted in this particular place. So it makes the operations easy. And all the customer interaction, we use the the apps and employee engagement through Facebook at work, which is a typical, or we have engagement platforms, etc. So the entire operations gets digitalized. So this is typically regarding the digital transformation part of it. You wanted to move a little further on how we are training and developing people, right?
Yes, we are interested in that formation, especially when you have to move or make that transition to digital transformation from, the traditional kind of operations. If you can highlight for us, as a student starts at the bottom of the ladder, how they can chart a career path along a sustainable livelihood in digital transformation. Sometimes what happens is that they get into the organization like a foot in the door, but they're not positioned in a way that they can follow a straight career path and be the digital transformer that they want to be or aspire to be. So that's what we're interested in. How do we navigate as we come in to the organization and build our career towards a focused path? Is that okay?
Yeah. See,
okay, thank you.
Actually, our talent management practice, if you look at, we strongly focus on build your own timber, right? You go to the campus, identify people. We go to most of the best engineering colleges. We have a stringent selection process where we administer that the test, the written test, then there's a interview, group discussion, interviews, then we draw a merit list. Based on that merit list, we used to issue the offer letters and hire the candidates. Once they come inside, we put them through a structured 1 year what it is, the 1 year training period, which is there. We have a very structured induction program. After the induction program is there, we have a rotational training. We look at in terms of planning, in terms of execution, in terms of safety, in terms of quality, in terms of tendering, in terms of cost management. So we know the whole value chain of the project management and rotate them in every aspect part of it within the first 1 year to get a whole overall feel of the induction part of it. And then we take them to the projects. And at every level, we have different type of training programs. One is the core technical training program, where it is in its domain area, civil, mechanical, electrical, etc. Then another thing is the leadership development at a little senior level. Then we have based on the career which they grow, after they are joining us as engineers, after a period of 1 year, they are put through some online. We have a tie-up with IITs and in 4 of the institutes for an MTech in construction technology and management. They get an opportunity to go there, do the program, then they come back. When we did all the digital transformation, we particularly look at skilling, reskilling, and multi-skilling of our people. So we have more than 18 training academies within L&T. We have where something focuses only on core technical training program. There's an institute where we focus only on project management part of it. Then we have something on behavioral training program. Then we invest a lot in people. So it is, for example, if it's a 1 module, there's a 4 module, they will go for the program, then do a live project, which is associated with that, and then they move on. And digital learning is another major area which we have. We have, if you look at, we have the Coursera, whether it is Percipio, whether it is Skillsoft, whether it is EBSCO, ProQuest, all the learning platforms are available in the organization, which is accessible to the staff members across levels. So we give a lot of effort. If we are going into a new technology, we have, for example, digital. We have,
okay.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it's my link or on your side. Okay, I'm seeing the message. It's my connection. It's
What happened?
My connection is a bit unstable because I wasn't hearing you at some point, but it's my connection. So you can continue.
Okay.
Yeah, and just give us an idea of if, for example, one of our leadership students wanted to really get tech savvy and use more cloud computing to deliver, their sessions and programs. How you have done that in your training with your students?
See, there are two type of training. What is the actual on-the-job training? Then it is your training program on whether it is digital or the classroom type of a training. Okay. When we introduce certain things, we have to put people on the job to understand that, how to make use of that. Plus, in the digital learning, we have a digital academy in which, based on the level, there are different courses are available in terms of, for example, analytics, or in terms of cloud computing, in terms of areas. We curated courses from Coursera, Skillsoft, etc. are available to at his level and at his pace. So he'll be in a position to select particular program, then do the program. Then there is an assessment which is inbuilt in the whole course itself. So he does an assessment. Then if he is done well, he moves to the next level, like that he goes. Then he also gets an opportunity to implement it in his area. So that is where it get reinforced better. So our success of the training program, or the ROI on the training program, is based on how many of the talent are internally developed and utilized there, than hiring from outside. That is one very important measure which we look at. How are we going to do that? Yeah. Any particular questions are there I can take, so that it will be irrelevant. Otherwise, I may go somewhere which may not be much. One more area, if I want to touch upon on leadership and training, is at each level, we identify the set of competencies required. Okay. If I have to share some slides.
Sure, you can share your slides, yes, please.
Yeah. Can you see this? Yeah, we have the three types of training. One is the technical leadership archetype, which is people become. Then there's a project leadership and business leadership. Okay, technical leadership is purely on engineering, design, focusing on core technical engineering part of it. The person joins as a postgraduate engineer in engineering, then he becomes a design engineer, then he becomes a senior design engineer, chief engineer, engineering manager. Like that, he moves up the ladder and he goes in. Another is project leadership, who start as a engineer at a project, then become a senior project manager, project director, then he moves up the ladder. Same way, business leaders are people who take a segment, then you become a business leader, they move up. So the three types of leadership in which people move up, and we have a very clear competency framework. Okay, for each of the leadership levels, we have a competency framework. We identify the set of competencies and then put them through. Let me show each level. At a lower level, it is more of leading self. At the next level of leadership, it is leading others. Next level is leading business, and fourth level is the leading the enterprises. So leading self, leading others, leading business, and leading enterprises. And so we have a competency framework for each of the tiers. For example, we broadly classified into think, act, and engage competency. For example, at a tier 2, at a particular level, they have business acumen, analytical thinking, change orientation. This is more of a thinking of competency. Then at act, driving for result and operational excellence. Then when it comes to engage cluster, that is relationship, communicating and influencing, customer centricity, people management. These are the competencies. Each competencies are divided into behavioral indicators. These behavioral indicators are tested in the assessment center, where we have a battery of tests. We have a behavioral event interview, we have a case study, we have a role play, we have a mail or in-tray, we have a return analysis, presentation, group exercise. Then it's a 2-day process. Then they integrate and they look at each of the competency. They find what is your level, what is the benchmark, what is the gap. Once you identify the gap, then it is a structured learning intervention is given so that he becomes comes to the benchmark in that level of competence. Same way when he goes up the ladder, the competencies slightly changes. If you look at the lower level, it is business acumen, then it is strategic work. Yeah. You're on mute.
Yes, so could you say at what point in the experience, is this after you have completed some part of the foundational learning in the college, or you are in the company now, and after 3 months, could you give us an idea of where, in terms of the duration of the training and development, this happens?
Training happens from day one. Okay, the time he joins at a graduate engineering trainee, there itself is a one year on the job training. Then after a period of 2-3 months, we nominate them for a program or MBAs or for a technical training we nominate. Then when they move up the managerial cadre, we have a competency framework in which they do an assessment, identify gap. Based on the gap, we make an individual development plan. An individual development plan, there may be classroom training, there may be digital learning. He uses Coursera, all those things. Then there may be a on-the-job assignment. They may be put in various task forces for team learning and implementation. There will be coaching and mentoring by the senior people. So there is a multiple interventions are there. Today, an organization make or break, survival is based on the talent. If you do not have the talent, you are nowhere, you are out. So continuous investment in people, development of people, moving them across is a basic hygiene. Then it is how do you engage them, how do you motivate them, how do you make them stay longer in an organization. That is where the HR need to focus, because this becomes hygiene, that becomes what you have to do. For example, I've been in the company for the last 35 years in the same organization. I joined this organization way back, and then I moved across roles, across geographies. I worked in different parts of India. I worked in Middle East. Then I moved across, and then today I'm the CHRO for the entire group of companies. So it is staying with the organization, using the right approach, continuously upgrading your skill, knowledge, and moving across. This is the competency framework of what I spoke about. A typical assessment center happens like this. A person comes in, there's a different assessment, then the integration happens, then the feedback is given to the participant. Then individual development plan is driven with the manager and the HR. Then based on the feedback, he goes into a next level of learning process. So it's a very structured, integrated process of developing people in the areas of in this domain expertise, in terms of engineering, in terms of leadership, etc. Since I said that's an education-based, reflection-based, and exposure-based learning. If it is a education-based, then you will have classroom, virtual section, as well as web-based and online learning. If it is a reflection section, it is coaching, mentoring, or peer learning is encouraged. If it is exposure-based, you are put in a project, you are put in an action learning project where you hands-on do something and then develop your skills. That's how it keeps moving. Yeah, different things we do that. It's a structured process. I said it's a 6 months development process. You give a project, they kick off, then the project goes on. There's a coaching, first a chemistry session, minimum 4 reflection sections. Then there's a classroom training on this, web-based training, and then they are also sometimes nominated for the external workshops, etc. So that they build. This is how you build leadership from within. Green is that exposure, reflection, and education part of it. It's a very, very structured process focused by different people. We also have another framework called a project leadership. So because people exclusively do a project, so we have again a project leadership program where we have identified the project leadership competencies required for the people. Then they will evaluate themselves, a self-evaluation, that's a 360-degree feedback, based on which they know where is the gap. And then we look at an individual development plan for them. These are the areas which we focus on: strategy, we focus on the work, people orientation, and self. In different buckets, we focus on, put them to a structured program. This is another leadership program in terms of a project management part of it. We have a proficiency level, etc. This is then another area which I wanted to talk about. So at every point of the career, what is the skill set required? What is the organization requirement? What is the individual requirement? What is his next career move? What is the gap between his current and required? How do I put through a structured program and then take them up? That is the.
Okay.
Is there any? Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything else?
So it's very enlightening to know how the industry trains and develops their best talent. In the institution, we tend to do more of the foundational knowledge and theory aspect, and we only have maybe about 2 or 3 months for persons to be exposed to really experience the real on-the-job exposure. How then do you think in education, where we are, how do you think we could bring more balance to training our future leaders? Because it seems as if your approach actually helps to tailor the student or the trainee into a focused career path. And so that's what we're interested in also, especially if it is that you get to a level where you want to move into digital transformation and specialize in that area using cloud computing and all the other digital technologies.
Yeah, see, I am not very sure about how is the education system in your part of the country, but there are very clear in India. We have so many engineering colleges, more than 15 lakh people pass out every year. And the statistics shows only 50% of them are employable.
Okay. And why is that so?
Yeah, so there is a gap in what the industry requires and what is the education system provides. Okay. So it's a published statistics. You can Google and see the employability statistics. So most of the organizations, the educational institutions, as well as the organizations, are collaborating together to see that how they will become employable. So you can study a theory, but okay, Kurt Lewin has told there's nothing more practical than a good theory. Okay, but how does it apply in practice? How do you implement it? How do you drive it in an organization? So that is more important. A person can understand Primavera, I can understand the MS project, how to do this. But in a real life, how do I implement it? So employability becomes the application of the learning into this. So it can be done only with the collaboration of the industry. So there are different forums in India where we collaborate together. In fact, we also have a long duration projects in the final year of the engineering. They come as a part of the curriculum. They come to the industry. They do a project, and then that has to be submitted as the final semester evaluation. Professor Krishnan Umachandran can throw much light on these areas, because continuously we send, and we have also gone to an extent of doing we call it as an internship, or we call it as a project. We have also brought internship for the faculty.
Okay. Well, then you can share a little more about that, or Dr. Krishnan, how does the internship for the faculty works?
No, that we are doing it. We collaborated with CII. We took some of the batch of people, we brought them to the institute, to our company. We took them around our facilities. Then we spoke to them about our processes. How do we do? What type of activities is done? We took them to the R&D lab. We took them to the project itself to see actual things, how it is happening. For example, a professor in civil engineering, he would have done his master's in civil engineering in 25 years back, and then he is continuously teaching. He has never gone to the project. So what is happening in the project he has to know. So that helps them to do that. That is where we also started certain things called L&T EduTech, where the practical education is given so that the people become employable. Okay, this is a very, very big concern today, and most of the engineering colleges are grappling with that. How do we make the curriculum very much relevant to the industry required? So different forums are there where we discuss. We go for guest lectures there. We invite the students to us. All these things happens to make it more employable. The educational institutes which take active lead in this are more successful.
Successful meaning that their graduates are hired and they stay hired.
They're placed. Yeah, the final thing is the placement. You know, how many people are getting placed? How do I measure the college? Once I go, I conduct one is they have the different gradings in the country, NAC rating, all those ratings. That is all fine. But once I come to, for example, into your institute, I hire some 25 people, 25 students. When I go and place them, how are they performing? That is one. How much retention is there, right? Then then we also look at what are the facilities available in the college and what is the level of professors. So different parameters are there before coming to a college. But after coming next year, whether I am going to come or not depends on how the students perform on the job, right? How much is the retention? How much of them are grown? If I take 25 people and the performance is excellent in the organization and they are remaining with the organization, then I keep coming to the same college. That is how the placement goes up.
Okay.
And once the placement goes up, the demand for the college goes up. So good students enter in. Then again, it is an upward cycle which goes up.
Okay. All right. So I would ask if we could just give the students now on the platform, and Dr.
Yeah,
Krishnan, you can also chip in for giving responses.
You
I
know,
will
see, Dr. Deborah, adding to what Dr. Jayakumar has said, see, here in India, what happens is industries are closely linked with the educational institutions. Okay, so they are the stakeholders for the improvement of an industry. What they do is they take care of the student who is coming as an employee, and they also facilitate the teachers to also upskill themselves. So there's a central government organization which is called as NITTR, which is called National Institute of Technical Teachers Education and Research. Okay, what they do is they develop these faculty across India and also from abroad. They make a lot of cross-learning with all the technology which is happening across the world. And these teachers learn it. And then they come. They are not only bookish, which is already available in the textbooks. They also pick up something which is available in place across the industry. And then they come and then they deliver it. That's where what Dr. Jayakumar is trying to say. If you can remember, when we had our first, webinar last year, we did a program on simulation. That time, Dr. Amarnath was talking to you, Dr. Kalirajan was talking to you. They were all sharing the reality, what they were doing from the industry towards the education. So these are the things, they are really bringing emerging technology into the place of work.
Amarnath and Kalirajan from our
L&T, sir.
Building information modeling. That's a new technique, it's a digital technique which is being done. Yeah.
So the University of West Indies has been constantly being told and shared with a lot of things which is happening. Yeah. And they have been continuously driving through these webinars, learning a lot on emerging technologies. I am really happy that all the efforts which we put through webinar is really being understood by them. They have a lot of interest. They want to do, but they have some limitations. They have some handicap, but that for which we can only skill them through knowledge inputs for which they have to take up and grow with it. That's where the thinking, right? Now, Dr. Deborah, you can again keep going, asking us questions so that we can answer you, so that we can give you a lot of inputs from our experience.
Deborah, you should also look at our L&T EduTech platform, where it is not only in civil, mechanical, electrical, even in IT space, there is a lot of online education programs, which is there. Our clients are only engineering colleges and top colleges. Even in Coursera, we have some of the courses, which is being a part of the Coursera thing. We have also tied up with some of the universities in the US also. Yeah.
Okay.
No,
All
hats
right,
off
so-
to Dr. Jayakumar for putting up a lot of effort. Getting us time itself is a difficult thing. And we are really happy that he shared us enough time. See, there's a lot of things your technical and vocational training, Dr. Deborah, can take up in West Indies. And I'm seeing a lot of potential available in University of West Indies and also on the TVET. Okay, so what really required is, learning is one aspect, but making it happen through hands, you have to do it. Soil yourself. The thing is, a lot of knowledge is available. If you soil yourself, you can do much more better. This is where the input of mine comes in.
At a grassroots level, we have more than 8 to 10 construction skills training institute across the country, where we go through NGOs, we get the unemployed youth. They put them through a structured training in bar bending, carpentry, fitter, mason, plumber, electrician, that type of a training. And then we give them stipend, then move them to project, put them on the job, then again to the next level of training. So that's a part of our CSR for building the nation, ensuring that employment to the unemployed youth and make them employable, skilling them up, etc.
Okay.
Dr. Deborah can take a lot of inputs from Dr. Jayakumar, because he can really help you people to grow up.
Yeah,
So
sure.
if you can connect with them in the later stages, it will be really good.
Yeah, please. I can ask my people of EduTech to show you how we do that. Plus, you are welcome. You can also visit India. If you come, we will take you around our site and we'll show all those things.
Okay. So there is scope for cooperation, or some kind of collaboration among our students here and your organization. And thank you for reaching out in that way. I will now ask the students online, we have a number of them, 21, to post their questions in the chat, or you can open your mic. Don't do it all at once. If you put your hand up, because we'll have some static. If you put your hand up, I can then let you go with your question. Or you can type it in the chat, and I will ask either Dr. Krishnan or Dr. Jayakumar to respond. Right, Robert, I'm seeing you speaking, but I'm not sure if you're asking a question. So you can open your mic, but I'm not seeing any other hands up. If you have a question, Robert Green.
Great morning. No, I don't have a question. I'm actually the chair of this session. So, I could assist with the questions as soon as they're posted in the chat.
Okay, sure. All right, so we're open to questions. Post them in the chat and Robert will moderate the session, moderate your questions.
Okay, even as people think about asking questions, I can even prompt, like what can be a kind of a question that can come from TVET. See, you want to have basic skills being developed in the students. For that, you have a setup which is already available. You can also cherish or enhance it. As Dr. Jayakumar was saying, there are different levels: educate, reflect, and enhance. So where you want to position, what kind of inputs you want, you can have people, they are readily available to share. In addition, Dr. Jayakumar was also telling about his new product, what they have developed on EduTech. Those things are really online facilitated. So you need not go around wasting a lot of money to learn it. You can be with your internet connected system, and then you can get connected and learn. So a lot of opportunities across the world is being available. So world is a global village. So you better use it. Only one thing is we should not have inhibition to ask. No shyness is required to learn. See, ignorance is not a bliss. Okay, what you do is, if you don't know, take it up and learn from it. That's where, these kind of opportunities can bring into you. Okay. Now, friends, please feel free to ask questions.
Only thing which is coming out today is two things which emerge as a very, very important competency for the future. One is the digital mindset. Okay. How do you use technology? How you use digitalization? How you use all these things to enhance your productivity, performance, etc. The second most important thing is learning agility. Things are changing so fast. Learning agility is becoming a competency by itself. So how do I quickly learn from whatever sources? Today, people are not bothered whether you have a BE, Bachelor's Engineering in IT, or a Bachelor's Engineering MTech in IT. Nobody is asking. If you are able to do a coding, if you are able to do create an app, nobody bothers whether you have an engineering degree or not. They hire you because skill is becoming more important than the basic fundamentals. So learning agility is very, very important, because by that time, within 2 years, the entire thing changes and the whole thing is different. We cannot keep on going to engineering college to get ourselves educated. So learning agility is also becoming a very important competence.
Okay, so that learning agility, is it facilitated by short courses or short learning initiatives like doing or pursuing micro awards or micro credentialing?
Yeah, we have, in fact, we have a lot of emphasis on micro learning. We have even a platform, which is an app, which is called Rappel, which we use for micro learning. For example, if you are taking something on, okay, if cloud computing is a very important aspect, so they may share a video or a write-up or a particular thing, PDF on micro learning or a PPT on micro learning in that app. Okay, it may not run into 200 pages. It may be a small 5 pages, 6 pages thing, article, and it is followed by a quiz with an objective type of question. Just ask a question at any point of time. It comes with 4 questions, answer. You go through that and you click on one answer. Then it will ask whether you are sure or you are guessing, or then you have to answer that also, whether just click. Then immediately it gives the answer. If it is the right answer, some flowers will fall and it will give a point and there's a leaderboard. If it is not correct, it says the correct answer. So then the same question may come after 2 days or sometime it may come. But different question comes at a different time till you get used to the concept. And at the back end, it is also doing an analytics of how many people are just judging and putting. If you are very confident and giving a wrong answer, then it is a danger. Okay, so you have to immediately put them through a program. So micro learning is again becoming a very, very important learning tool today in the digital world.
Okay, and could you say which micro credentials on the market, which are of high value, in the sense that if I pursue the micro credential, do I do it with any company, or there are companies that specialize in these skills so that the employers, when I come to them with my micro credential, they're going to say, yes, I'll accept that and I'll put you on, give you some mobility to do a specialized skill. How amenable are employers? How are they accepting these micro credentials?
No, that's
I
what
today, yeah.
Today the more on it is employment is skill based than qualification based, right? If there are BTech and BE in civil engineering, in software industry, very excellent coders, excellent app manufacturing creators. They may be in IoT, cloud computing, virtual reality, all those things they are doing. What is the basic degree is be civil engineering. What is to do with that? But it is more of what they have learned through, it may be through micro learning, it may be through an online course. They should have joined Coursera, or they would have joined an institute for a 6 months program or 1 year program. but they have the skill of doing it. So that is what is more recognized in the organization today than the basic fundamental degree.
Okay. All right. Dr. Krishnan, do you have any other input in terms of the growth and development of potential leaders in this area?
See, be whatever it is, any person who wants to study something, they want to make money out of it. That's the brag talk. Okay, so either you make money by joining an organization or do something on your own, make it as a business and make money for your livelihood, be whatever it is. Today, if you are doing something on your own or you're going to work in an organization, your education is valued for its implementation. So whatever you know, if you can make a reality out of what you know, is where it is being valued. That's what Dr. CJK was saying. Your education, 4 years or 6 years or whatever you did, after your secondary level of school education, now it doesn't matter if it is not going to prove onto a reality. So that is where he is saying you can study anything, but when it comes to industry where it is going to make a monetary benefit to the organization, they want people who are performers. Employable. Performers here are nothing but you can deliver money to the organization. That is, you make money to the revenue of the organization. The brag talk is what you study doesn't matter, but if you can perform today to make that happen is what is being cherished. That is where Dr. CJK was saying.
By the way, I'm not discouraging people for going to colleges. I will send my son also to college, my daughter also to college. They have to have an education. But just because I am done my engineering, I have done my thing, I will not get a job.
Correct. So the tag alone, the tag which we put after our name doesn't really matter if it doesn't go for a reality of ensuring its performance. Okay, so this is what is required, and especially my humble contribution towards TVET is nothing but you are already onto a realistic platform, so you need to really learn all the basics. If you are thorough with your basics, then you can really contribute. So you cannot make an error into your basics, because based on this only, you can go for an advanced stage. So vocational training is one which makes all theories to be practical. When you're making things to become practical, it requires a lot of changes in the people, your behavioral change, your attitudinal change, your implementation, your teaming aspects. That's where Dr. CJK was telling about the assessment centers and a lot of grooming aspects, building up a leadership. Everything has been into a wholesome in a company like L&T. Believe me or not, L&T is the leader in India on constructions. Across the world, now they have gone far and wide. I had been an employee of L&T, so I know the cherishment and the nuances through which they are growing. See, they really mean what they are talking. So if you really want to learn a lot, not only in this platform, within this 1 hour or 1.5 hours we are having, you can still connect with the Dr. CJK and get to go further. This is the real opportunity you're having. So God bless.
Happy to connect you to our technical team who are leading with cloud computing or any other digital transformation, IoT, etc. We can definitely facilitate that. I'll be happy to do that. Our EduTech can also give you a overview of what they have in that, so we can take it further. That's absolutely fine.
Okay. All right. So, Robert, I think we have a question in the chat. If you can.
Yes. And I think Dr. Jayakumar, he already answered that question. He said the question was, can we access short courses in your micro learning platform, and do you provide sponsorships for these courses, example, cloud computing, leadership? He said yes for our employees, but the question I'll add to that, do you offer these short courses for persons who are not employed to your organization?
No, from our platform, we don't do, but for that, if you can look at Coursera, there's a whole lot of things are available in Coursera, which are free courses in different areas, and then you move into a paid course if required. I think you should explore. If you have not done it, Coursera is an excellent platform where we also have a tie-up. You can look into that.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. And from a facilitator perspective, if we wanted to do some online or digital transformation partnership with you online, for example, if I, as the coordinator of the Masters in Leadership in TVET and Workforce Development, wanted to partner with L&D, your company, is there an opportunity for that kind of collaboration?
Virtually, what type of collaboration you're talking about?
It would be online,
Yeah.
and we get exposure to what you are exposing your employees to in terms of specific skills for digital transformation. Yeah, because I know you spoke about bringing in the faculty, and
Yes.
you expose them. Yeah. So I
Yes.
was just asking.
We can look at it on what type of assistant required. If it is a short assignment, fine. If it is going to be a lengthy thing, then I will tie you up with our L&T EduTech platform, where that is their business for doing it. So they have different courses in terms of digital transformation, leadership. All those things are available with that, predominantly into engineering, coding, and all, etc. Where we too can be of a win-win situation for both.
Okay. Actually, we have one question. Yeah, hand up. Yeah.
Right. I think that's coming from Andrea Searchwell. Can go ahead, please, with your question.
Yes, thank you. I didn't hear clearly what Doc had said about the platform. Did he refer to Coursera?
Coursera.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Yes, Andrea, you're on the dot. The same thing.
Thank you very much.
And
Any
could I
other
ask?
questions
Yeah.
from the student?
Yeah,
Just
I was
wanted
going
to
to
know
ask.
if you
Yeah.
had any questions.
Yes. I wanted to ask if you'd also afford the opportunity for our students to do like internships online in that way. Just as, for example, I would do an externship because I'm not a student, but our students would do internships. Would you afford the opportunity for our TVET students to possibly do short internships with you online in that digital transformation area, like cloud computing and IoT and so on?
I can look into that, but how effective it will be an online internship, I'm little skeptical about it. If it is of use to the student, then it is fine. But I don't know how effective it will be in an online way.
Well,
But I
what you
think
do,
you should
yes.
further explore. I will connect you to our EduTech people as well as to our technology people. You can talk to them and then see how we can collaborate together. That will be
Okay. So let me just ask the students who are here, what would be the areas in terms of moving you or upscaling you to digital transformation? What would be the areas you'd be interested in? All right. Dr. Jayakumar, could I just ask you to go back into the digital technologies, that part of your presentation, the slide? I think students are having a little challenge articulating what these digital technologies would be.
We had a response in the chat, says leadership becoming better leaders. So probably that's one of the things that they are organizational leadership. I'm seeing them coming in.
Okay.
So I'm assuming that these were some of the areas of interest that they would want to zoom into.
Okay, and so I throw it out to you, Dr. Krishnan and Dr. Jayakumar. We have interest in leadership, becoming better leaders and organizational leadership. So would these be areas that we can collaborate on and possibly have our students link or connect with you online to make that happen?
Definitely. Leadership is one area we work on very constantly. We have a 7-step leadership development program at each part of the career for our employees. We have tied up with some of the best colleges. We have a tie-up with INSEAD. We have tie-up with Ross Business School, Michigan. We have a tie-up with Harvard. We have tie-up with many of the bigger institutes. Even I was sponsored for a ACP program for London Business School. Last year I was there in London Business School. So we continuously focus on leadership training and moving them. Predominantly, when I look at the leadership, I look at 4 buckets. One is managing self. That is more important. Self-awareness through various tools, etc. How are you? How do you know yourself better? Managing self. Then look at managing others. Okay. How do I interact with people? How do I, in terms of emotional intelligence, in terms of other areas, how do I interact with others? Then third big area, I look at managing change. How do I handle change? How do I be agile? How do I realign my org structure? How do I realign the processes? How do I bring in new technology? How do I bring in more effectiveness among people? How do I bring in more engagement, etc.? That is the third part of it. And finally, the managing business, knowing the financials, knowing the customer, knowing the what adds value to the business. How do you make a win-win situation? Not only you win, your customer also should win, your client also should win, right? So that you grow together. So these are the 4 broad buckets. Then there are so many other theories, so many other things, including Ram Charan's leadership pipeline. You talk about the different bits through which people go across. In their which part of their career they are, what is their current situation, and then based on the gap they have to look at. Today the knowledge is available in plenty. Just whether it is Google, whether it is Coursera, whether it is everything is available. How do you look at it? How do you internalize it? How do you put it into practice? That is more. That's where people have to work on. That's my.
Yes, Dr. Krishnan, you wanted to add to what Jacob?
No, one point I wanted to add, Dr. Deborah. Thing is, see, you were asking about the internship through online. See, the impact of online is again going to be a boredom in continuation of what they are learning, status quo in their place. So it's nothing going to change much. But if they move around, see around, engage around, get along with other people. See, for you and me, we have been in connection for last 12 years. That's because we went into emerging technologies as early as 2012. But to get this, we have to do a lot of work. Similarly, these people have to move around. As they move around only, they can learn. So if they want to be only bookish, they can get a degree. I mean, they can get a certificate, but that may not be of much value, provided if they really want to learn and implement. So it can this is one hiccup which I see on and online. As far as the pandemic was concerned, online was okay. But now things are again coming back to reality. So we need to move around. We need to search and explore our, inputs. So this is where I wish to. Okay. So I leave it to you now to.
Yeah. And we do have an opportunity for students to experience a practicum in shadowing a manager in an institution as part of our leadership programs. But it's not lengthy. They spend, let me put it this way, they spend more time in the classroom than with the manager in industry.
Well, so my personal experience is like shadow learning from a leader is a great input, but you need to be really with a leader. So that then only you can really learn it. Because if the exposure is lesser, then means you get only one-sided of what you perceive. That's what the leader shows. No. But when you live through together with the leader, then the inputs, whatever you get from him or her, is going to really add value to your learning. So shadow learning is to be on a real scale rather than onto a virtual, kind of an input.
Sure. Okay, so Robert, I'll hand over to you as
So
the
typically,
moderator.
what is the course the students are doing? What is the program they are going through?
They're going through their masters in leadership in technical and vocational education and training and workforce development.
Very good.
Yeah.
I could have kept on speaking on leadership. I should have focused only on leadership.
Okay. Yeah, Robert, I'll hand over to you.
All right. Let me thank the team.
By the way, sorry, Robert, one more second now. By the way, my PhD is on leadership. How a leadership behavior will influence an employee in their organizational commitment as well as to intention to stay or leave the organization. So entire leadership, it's more of a perception study. How perception is finally reality, right? How do I perceive my leader? People don't leave the company, people leave their bosses. So how does leadership behavior influences the employees in terms of organizational commitment as well as intention to stay or leave the organization? Thank you. Sorry, Robert, go ahead.
All right.
Thank
So let me thank Dr. Jayakumar and the team for facilitating this session. I'm pretty sure there are many other questions, there are many other realms of interest that would have sparked, getting the minds aroused in this direction of, TVET and the whole works of training and, cloud computing for TVET. Right? I'm seeing a comment in the chat where someone is saying that they're interested in offering online courses and training practical for persons like subgroup through, of the Heart NSDA Trust. Right. So, there are also different aspects of training that persons can zoom into and be a part of in order to develop their skill set. I heard Dr. Jayakumar even made mention of persons who are skilled and having their mindset in the right places. Some of them don't even have a degree, but they because they can insert themselves in terms of carrying out the daily routines or the responsibilities or the roles, they tend to get a job. So, in other words, let's strike a balance where this is concerned.
Okay, so thank you, Robert, for those closing remarks. And I would like to add my personal thanks as chair for the conference to Dr. Jayakumar and Dr. Krishnan for affording us this opportunity this morning for listening and learning from you, your inspirational feedback and encouragement. It means a lot for us here as students in development, future leaders, including myself, because I learned from you, I can pass on to my students. So the time spent has been very rewarding, and we look forward to continued collaboration coming out of this morning's session. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very
Dr.
much. It was nice meeting and interacting with all of you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Dr. Jayakumar. Thank you. Bye.
You're welcome.
We are closing the session. Bye.
Sure.